Hello there. Welcome back. I thought I would create another short video just to update everyone on recent developments with my research assistant script. Uh, Previously, this was called the AI interview assistant. Anyone who's seen my last video will have seen me demonstrate it in action using Windows Voice Assist to record speech and then automatically send it to an LLM. That LLM then performed deep research upon it by making use of a local copy of Perplexica, which is like your own personal Perplexity server running on your desktop. Why the name change? Well, since then, it's become apparent to me that this was more of a research assistant tool and less of an interview tool. Why? Well, primarily, as you will see, you can talk around subjects and it extracts the topics and keywords from it to carry out live research on them as you are speaking. And once you have finished, it then offers you to download a report based on that subject matter, where it will generate a general summary of the subjects discussed, a transcription of the conversation, and links to sources regarding the various topics and keywords. This could be used, obviously, in a variety of situations, during meetings, or even on a mobile phone, just to purely, as I say, record a series of notes about subject material as you talk about it, and then carry out deep research upon that for you to later review and dig up more information. I have extended it quite a lot since my last video, hence why I thought I would record a new one to discuss some of the new features and things that I have added to it. The most major change is the fact that I have included the ability to now, within the config for the system, to specify a local copy of OpenAI Whisper running on another PC or locally, which you can then use to carry out the transcription for you. This replaces the requirement for Windows Voice Assist to do that transcription for you, which was necessary if we were going to use this on mobile and tablet environments, where obviously you don't have Windows Voice Assist available to carry out that. This is all, of course, handled in the background. So, to facilitate this locally, as I said, I compiled my own copy of OpenAI Whisper, which is an audio transcribing software. I compiled it using the Vulkan SDK in order for it to run on my AMD GPU that I have here. There are other options out there for using Whisper, and I have linked in the README for the project on GitHub and here to my personal implementation that I have used on a Windows 11 PC here on my network, which is running this in order to leverage its AMD GPU to carry out the transcribing in a quick fashion. If anyone is interested on how it works and how I set it up, they can go there and there's a fairly good guide on how to install and run your own version of this. You can also download Whisper from OpenAI and compile it to use NVIDIA or even run on a CPU. There's a variety of options out there. This just matched my personal local setup where I have several computers running various different operating systems with various different bits of hardware in them that I can leverage to do what I want. Since the AMD GPU in the Windows 11 PC was unused, I felt it would be a prime candidate to carry out this audio transcription, and so I set that up on there. Now, as you can see here, there are a number of features that have been added to the system since my previous video, including a query queue system that will sequentially stack user queries as you are speaking, the voice-to-text input with transcription via said OpenAI Whisper, that I have enabled an API for via Fast API so that we can access it here to do what we want to do. The Various responses have been tidied up a little bit to make them prettier with markup. A number of bug fixes have been carried out and improvements. I have also added topic navigation, which is essentially a series of bookmarks that appear on the left-hand side of the interface here as you speak that you can click to jump to see your query and the AI's response to it. And as you can see, there's an awful lot more in terms of features. There is a separate tab that you can now access from a menu with the conversation history just displayed top to bottom, as well as a current topic tab that displays a word cloud with a load of words extracted from the current subject matter that you are talking about that you can again click to carry out deep research on using your local copy of Perplexica. Now, anyone who's used AI will be familiar with Perplexity. It's an AI-powered answer engine. That's how it describes itself there. When you go there, you're given a nice interface where you can ask a question, get an answer, and it will show sources and sort of does deep research on the subject. Now, Perplexica is very similar. My personal copy here runs in a Docker image, and again, you can ask it any question you want. Shall we ask it to research me? You will see eventually it will come back with some information on me. There you go. It's found my website and sort of extracted some various topics from there. Now, Perplexica makes use of Search XNG, again running in a similar fashion locally here via Docker on my computer. It can leverage this via API to perform searches on search engines for particular topics to get information on for its deep research. All very handy tools to have. If you run your own local AI setups, you can configure them via tools such as N8N and so on to also use these various services to do the same thing to support whatever you're building. Search XNG here will take a little while to come back with results, as I've told you to use every search available when it searches. But you can see, again, lists of information relating to me. It has some rather nice features, such as a music search, where you can find some quite obscure things, if that's what you're into, and a social media search that it can leverage, again, to help when being called via API from various AI tools and services. But without digressing too much, let's go back to our AI research assistant. So this can use that to carry out deep research. So shall we begin by demonstrating it all working, perhaps? So initially, when you click this microphone button here, you will see that the request is recorded in the browser. When we stop, it then transcribes that by sending it via the API to OpenAI Whisper, which will then return the text of whatever was said, and it will be placed here. This will then send it to my local LLM running here to extract keywords, subjects, and topics. It will present whatever was said as a user query and get a deep dive from Qwen 2.5 on whatever you're talking about. One of the new features I've added is a quick take that makes use of Microsoft's Phi 4, which is a small, lightweight, quick model, and it looks at the topics and keywords being discussed and just gives a quick summary in the corner here about it. The whole system has been reconfigured so that it maintains a context and awareness of what is being said, previous user requests, and so on. Uh, and slowly, as you talk, it builds up an understanding of what you're talking about to give you a better result in regards of the notes it generates. Otherwise, with like the previous system, each request was an individual one, and it would be required to be complete. If, for example, you sent only half a request, it would come back with some quite bizarre responses based upon that. This one now will slowly sort of get an understanding and be much more concise and relevant to what you're talking about. Anyway, enough of me waffling. Shall we begin? Today, we are talking about how AI can be used to create a research assistant script that leverages OpenAI Whisper to transcribe user input and then send it to a local large language model for it to process and carry out research on. There you go. As you can see, it has transcribed my text and has begun doing what it does. So we have the quick take saying the discussion revolves around leveraging artificial intelligence to develop a research assistant script. This script utilizes OpenAI's Whisper for transcribing input and subsequently sends it to a large language model. Pretty much what I just said. We have our word cloud here beginning to appear. The current topic, AI assistant, is shown below. So you can see it's correctly identified what I'm talking about. It's generated this quick take on what it is. And we have a history of the conversation here that we can dig deeper on and also click on these keywords as they appear in the word cloud. So this is all well and good, but in the situation like a meeting, or say if you are using your mobile phone to record notes, you don't want to be clicking start stop all the time to record and send necessarily. Perhaps you would want a continuous recording where it listens to what you say and then sends that to be transcribed and acts upon that transcription. So there are a number of methods available to do this. The more complex method involves streaming the audio and using software to carry out silence detection to pick out individual sentences and paragraphs and transcribe them on the fly. I felt for my particular proof of concept here that I've been developing that this was overly complex and not necessary. And based upon previous discussions with some of my AI tools here, it seemed apparent that we could just use chunking to do what we want, where we break the conversation up roughly every 10 seconds into recordings, send them to be transcribed, and then send that to the AI. Because the AI has that context awareness from previous requests from the user, this works particularly well because regardless of if they're broken in the middle of something, overall it maintains that relevant awareness of the subject material, the topics, and so on, and can carry out research upon it and present you with relevant information regarding it. This eliminated the need for complex silence detection and was much easier to set up. So, in order to do this with this new version of my system here, you have to double click on the microphone button to enable continuous recording mode, like this. So, how would such a system be of benefit to a person to enable them to carry out research? Could it be used as a AI research assistant, perhaps, providing them with information around a subject by extracting topics and keywords from conversation during meetings and in other situations, so that it would build up a repository of notes regarding whatever they were discussing and talking about that the person could then revisit later on and use to review and also see more information about. So there you go. As you can see very clearly, It's been listening to what I'm saying and has begun to extract information on it. It's carried out a deep dive. We can jump around and see the various chunks of the conversation being sent and its responses to them. And we have our quick take here, where it says the discussion revolves around leveraging AI technologies to create a research assistant script. This system would use OpenAI Whisper for transcribing user input and send it to a local large language model for processing, thus enabling comprehensive research capabilities. Such an AI assistant could be highly helpful and beneficial by providing relevant information on topic of interest, extracting keyword topics from conversations in various settings like meetings, and building a repository of notes for later review. So you can see it has gathered the gist of what I was saying as I was talking about it. The report can then be downloaded using this download report button. It downloads as HTML and then can just be opened in the browser and features the date and a summary of what was discussed, a full transcript of what was discussed, and also the various keywords and links to then research them. So I think, as you can see, it's growing into quite a useful tool, perhaps beyond the initial idea, that could be used to carry out all kinds of research and is quite functional for a number of different ideas and themes, really. I think it's developing into a very nice and effective tool as well. It almost leads into another project I was thinking of doing, which was to create a system where it would write documents on the fly, simply as you talk about a subject, editing them, revising them perhaps, and presenting information into it as you go, so that in the end you wind up with a kind of complete document that you can download and use. But that's a project for another day. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this brief update on this particular tool that I've been developing for fun, really, in my spare time. And catch you next time.